6:43. Chip is wonderful in being our 2-time scriber. In a row, he gets the prize for the week. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? No. Did everyone have a chance to look over the June minutes, and is there any questions? I don't know. All those in favor of approving them as is?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I didn't have that.
Oh, you don't have them?
June
That's
minutes?
the agenda.
Oh, this is,
It looks like the agenda.
oh, okay, but yeah, oh, I didn't put that.
Okay. Unanimous approved.
Yes. but-
And then Julie's director's report. Okay. Okay, so on to our new business.
I have one question.
Yes.
We had postponed approving May's minutes till this meeting.
Oh, okay, but we would approve them, we just couldn't do the vote. Okay, all those, thank you for remembering this. All those in favor of approving May's minutes? Again, aye.
Yeah, yes, sorry, yes.
Yes.
Okay. That was an aye for you too. Okay, approved, May minutes approved. Long-term homeschool use outcomes. Julie, did you wanna talk about that, or?
Well, that's
Yeah.
why
Go to
Brittany's
you.
here, because I don't have much information except for the dates that
Okay.
would go.
I have something typed out, I will just read it. and
Sure,
then-
yeah.
My name is Brittany Gunderson, I'm a homeschooling mom with 4 boys, a frequent library goer, storytime attendee, a spinner lady on the occasional Wednesday night right here in Compton, and I am a resident of Monmouth. This upcoming school year is my 3rd year homeschooling my oldest son, and all the events that we have attended at the library have counted towards our homeschooling journey. The journey has been the positive impact that Compton Library has made on our journey is irreplaceable. And I couldn't think of a better space for us to gather at. I'm asking the Board of Trustees if they would consider allowing me and 2 other homeschooling moms to reserve one of the community rooms for our littlest learners in the community. We would like to meet for 17 different Fridays throughout the school year when kids are in school. So we would just meet here for 2 hours on a Friday. Having the space to discuss our homework, read together, or talk about our monthly book club would only help our young children's minds expand. I couldn't think of a better place to help than our public library to help promote education and their personal enrichment. So I'm asking, please consider allowing a few local moms to create a space to help their children's education and strengthen the community bonds.
Awesome, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Brittany?
Sounds like a good idea to me. Can Brittany just turn so Beth and I can see what she looks like, so we run under the street, we can say hello?
On how you look.
If she's
It's really sunny, so I don't know if you're gonna be able to see very well.
kind of, okay.
Hi, Brittany.
Okay. That's a little better. You have a glow behind you from the sun. That's lovely.
She's an angel.
Okay, thank you.
If that makes a difference.
And the space downstairs is appropriate for your needs, the larger room where the story time takes place.
Whatever is available, honestly.
And like on Fridays, is the library's open from
1 to 5.
and that sometime in the 1 to 5 range is good for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we prefer it not be right at 1 because that can be kind of difficult to get things organized. But once we get working with it, you just file it down there because there's the elevator to get the stroller, there's a changing table in that bathroom.
Oh,
Yeah, we've got toys, we got stuff.
I heard Brittany say that, was it 7 children would be attending?
Yes,
Okay,
my,
what's the age range? Just curious.
my littlest is 1, but the oldest would be 12.
Okay.
We have a multi-generational, learners.
do you have a 2 hour period between, like, would you do a 2 to 3 or 1:30 to?
We were hoping between 2 and 4.
Okay.
Or even 1:30 to 3:30 would be fine. We're really flexible, we homeschool, so we're flexible with timing and scheduling.
I don't see any, I think 2 to 4 sounds great, right? Because if there was Constant Hall theater stuff, that would take place typically in the evening, if anything was happening, right? So, yeah, Dennis didn't have a problem with it as long as it was during library hours. So I think we could vote now.
When you could, I don't know, 1:30 is.
And this room would be available if there was some.
I don't know that we put homeschool, because I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, that it's not enough space for 7 kids and toys and.
Julie, do you think 1:30 is better, doing it earlier, 1:30 to 3:30
Well,
than
that's
2
what
to
she
4?
mentioned, 1:30 to 3:30, so.
But does 2 to 4 also work?
It works for us, it works for
What,
you.
I don't,
I mean, I think basically it's totally up to you, as long as it's beginning at 1:30 or later, your 2 hours.
and you don't even have to decide right now, because we're open, you can check with the other groups and see. and
Okay.
let me know. Yeah. Yeah, that might work easier, then you don't have to.
All those in favor of?
Is this within the parameters of our authority? Since it's building use?
Yes, according, Dennis is fine with it, he just said as long as it's library hours, it's library business.
And the downstairs room is considered a library space.
Mhm.
I don't have a copy of his policies, so I don't really know what they are, but I did reach out to him.
He said if they need it during non-library hours, then it would be a conversation to have with him, but since it is, we're good. Any other questions? Chip was an educator, so he's thinking about tomorrow kind of thing.
Might that grow, might the homeschool grow, or are you just planning on keeping it kind of small?
We would grow if, there's a big need for it. I know there is another, a grandmother who homeschools in Monmouth who's
Yes, I think I know her,
for her daughter,
right,
yeah.
and that's Doreen Scott. She,
I know her, yes.
yes.
She's
Doreen
awesome.
loves the library.
So she
She
would,
homeschools her daughters, children, her grandchildren.
well, I'm not sure what the arrangements are, but
No, she does it,
yeah, so.
But
I think it's easier for her to do it at home.
If there is need for a community and learning for the little kids, I'm more than happy to. Have more people come,
Yeah,
but if there is a space limit or size capacity, then
pretty good sized room, yeah. And it's not religious based or anything like that, but the town would be wondering about her. I don't have any problem with it. And we would just try to accommodate you, I see you all the time, so we can just work things out if something gets. Something's needed, or you guys wanna try a certain thing, we can try to make that work too, so. Yeah, I'll show you the space, bring the toys and stuff like that. You're welcome. Yeah, so
Do we need to vote on it?
I don't know,
Let's vote on it just in case we have to, so nobody questions us. Okay, all those in favor of supporting homeschooling effort here at the library?
Aye,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Unanimously.
yeah, thank you, that's great.
This is great.
And yeah. Yeah, so just next time you're in, we'll take it to a bit here.
that sounds good.
I didn't realize you know there was chairs, table and stuff, that's important.
It is. It's better than changing in the trunk of the car.
Oh, yeah, on the floor,
On the
later. Yeah. So great, and you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, it was nice meeting all of
Appreciate
you.
Sorry, I mixed your last name up.
Oh, it's okay.
Thanks.
Excuse me. Nice meeting you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
You too. So with the ordinance now in effect, I think we need to vote for the chair now, because normally I think we do it in June. That's my understanding, so I figured we should,
Normally, the positions of our full officers are filled in September because the election happens in June, and normally we weren't meeting in September because we didn't realize that that's what it had said in the old ordinance or whatever. So we met in September. So, yeah.
so that's why we did in September, but I think we should probably do it now-ish. Based on this town meeting. Cause that's when like the chair, the new trustees are like officially trustees, it's like upon the election. I mean, I can stay as chair for until September, if everyone wants to postpone the vote. We could also see who wants to throw their hat in the ring.
I don't know who wants it.
Allison, Beth,
I don't want it. I'm happy to nominate you again, Anna, to do it, whether it happens now or in the fall. I don't know if it makes a difference, but but those are my thoughts on it now.
okay, so that's one nomination, are there any other nominations?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
She nominated me again, if I'm willing to do it.
I second Allison's nomination.
I was just thinking this, we talked about this when we were looking at the ordinance, getting this to coincide with the town.
Right, so I think normally it'd be like June, we would vote.
Right.
Maybe it would be July, because we need to know the results of the election for the trustees and everything too.
June, so this would be the first meeting.
Yeah, so I think it should be July, right?
I feel like it makes sense if we're starting fresh with the redone ordinance and people get elected in June, you get sworn in, you had to be sworn in before the end of the month, and then you start the new fiscal year and everything seems to start fresh in July. And now that we're meeting in the summer, it makes sense. I think the only reason we did it in September was because at the time we weren't meeting in the summer. So this would be the first meeting of this year, is this July meeting. So it makes sense.
We're good to vote then? All those in favor of Anna McDermott as chair for the 2025-2026 year, please raise your hands or say aye.
Aye.
And the nays? You abstain? All right, well, here we go, Ken.
Thank you for doing it.
Kayaks. I think we can make the kayak thing happen with Ken's help. But there's some there's some things that we need to figure out how it's gonna work, like locking them up and keys. And life jackets
And
stuff.
storage, because most of the time it's gonna be in storage. And I have not approached the town about the legality of a select board member selling something to the town. Whether it's legality or not, there is a public perception of that kind of thing. And I wanna go into it knowing,
But it was legal.
yeah, that everything's okay and that, cause I wasn't involved in a conversation with Kent. I was hoping he would come tonight and talk about it.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to make it.
Has that been covered? What is did he have some problem with? As I tried to explain to him at the Friends meeting, it wasn't about the money. It was other people had. What I came away from that meeting feeling that people had pretty strong feelings about the library staff not doing that at this time. And I told Ken it wasn't about the money. I was waiting until the new rec director came on board, which I think he's been hired. I think he's going to start in another week or so. And storage alone is a pretty big issue. I don't know about the conflict of interest or, perception of impropriety or whatever. I don't know any of that. I sent you guys the business about the waiver from the attorneys. It's not just gonna happen, like, because they get delivered. We need, personal flotation devices, we need paddles. I don't know if that's part of Kent's package.
The paddles and the kayaks, I think he has, and then the life jackets. We would need to supply. So either out of the funds that you were planning on using to buy the kayaks, or we could ask the friends next week.
Well, originally that I had asked the friends for that and was refused.
So, I mean, I think the main thing for storage, if Kent is like giving us or selling us kayaks that we can store there in the summer, we have to find out if you're willing to take them back for the winter, right?
That wasn't my plan for a kayak, it was to store them at the rec department's building
Oh, okay.
at Monmouth Beach. That's why I thought this was a little premature for him to just be like, I'm dictating it, you're getting them. When none of this agency here had really signed off on it and we didn't have some of those questions answered. I mean, some of you were at the meeting, the Friends meeting, and I definitely came away with the impression that they need more information.
I was at that friends meeting, and it was Julie's right. It was about the logistics a lot of like who is handing out the paddles and the life jackets, when was the waiver being signed, who did it get turned into when they were done paddling, if they locked it up, where did the key go, how do you lock it up, where does it get stored. There was an endless thing. It wasn't about paying for the kayaks or canoes or whatever was decided on. They were all for that. They felt as though they didn't want to dump another big thing on Julie and Sarah and her staff without having some sort of plan ahead of time. If it was the gist of it.
I think you were going to check with town attorney, to see about the legality of, did they have to sign something?
I think they would, and we'd have to have the attorney
Right,
either approve something,
so that had to
something
happen.
boilerplate maybe. So yeah, there's lots of things that have to happen in order for it to work. But like, how would they be locked up? I haven't seen how, like, would we be able to give people keys that they then return? Cause,
Well, there's only one or two kayaks at the berth right now, and I did not go over and look at it. I'm not very familiar with a kayak. I don't know how you would tie it up and then secure it with a chain and a padlock or a number lock or whatever. That's another reason I was just hoping that we could get the input of the new rec department guy. I've met him briefly. The town manager told me he's keen on working with other departments. And I just would rather wait.
I think like Kent heard you mention it at a few meetings that you were hoping to get kayaks or canoes. And it's a great idea, so he was excited about it, and it's like July. So I think it was he's just very excited, and so he will be supportive in any way that he can be. But there's steps that have to happen. So I think maybe we put a pin in this until the rec guy is on board, and then we maybe see if he can have a conversation.
And the
Cause
legal thing too.
yeah, legal thing, and like cause like. They'd only be able to check the canoes out during library hours and return them theoretically during library hours, which is very limited time.
Well, they could put the keys in the Dropbox just like anything else.
Yeah, that's true. And but what about the life jackets?
That's some whole
Yeah,
other thing.
like, so
So are you gonna contact the
I will,
town?
I can
attorney?
find out whoever this guy is and talk to the attorney about the waiver. I mean, we don't need a waiver until we know we're gonna do it.
But you need to know what he suggests as a waiver.
What's the present status of the beach now?
No lifeguards, no
I
stuff.
know, I was envisioning when we were talking about this, that there'd be some cooperation with the people, the lifeguards, and so forth down there. Someone to keep an extra eye on what's going on.
But the boat launch is not. I mean, it's abuts the beach, but they're not right there.
Yeah.
It's mainly to work with him, Mike, I think his name is Mike, he might have some other ideas. About how to approach this altogether, but. A lot of it for me was storage, and I hadn't thought it through about how do you return the paddles and the. And the PFDs.
Or if somebody doesn't return the key, who's gonna chase them down?
Well, I think we definitely have to have 2 sets of keys for every padlock, so that the library always has one.
I was
Loses it.
I just had a random thought, and I don't even know if it's doable or not. Would it be worth reaching out to the Cobussy watershed people about somehow engaging their boat checker person and to take on some sort of a responsibility of turning over the life jackets to them, and they have or bring them, and they get some sort of additional compensation or something like can we share that person some way and help offset the Cobussy watershed or something, because that the boat checker person there is there pretty much the same hours somebody would take out a kayak or canoe. It's just a thought.
At, Beachy Wagon, how do you pronounce it?
Pocknawaga.
Cocknawagan? I prefer canoe. At that lake has a boat checker most days?
No, they only do it on the weekends, Friday through Sunday.
And that person not being a town employee, I don't know that the town would go for that. There's a lot at play here, and I admit, when this all stemmed from library things and they were getting all jazzed up about the berth. With the potential kayaks, and I just threw it out there as something different and people got excited, but there's a lot to it that maybe. You know, I just don't wanna rush into it. I also don't wanna be blamed if it doesn't happen.
So another thing I'll throw and we're very tied to the kayak rack hanging up and all that. If it's something we want to things for Quinn's birthday board, and it came
You're breaking up a
big
little bit.
rubber back. Oh, sorry. We got Quinn a paddleboard chair, and it's an inflatable one. It comes with a backpack and a pump, and it's self-contained. We've left it blown up because we didn't want to have the aggravation of blowing it up and then taking it down and blowing it up. And it is so rugged, amazed at how the quality of it. And not that it's paddleboards, but they have inflatable kayaks as well that are the same thing. They come with essentially like a big back. It might be something where have it at the library and then issue as part of your library things, and then it comes back, you know, the next time the library is open, and there's not a problem with having to deal with locking it up. You know, if we don't end up going that route, it's something else to think about.
You mean it's an inflatable, the vessel?
Board, yeah, I have one too. And it's like a bag like this big that maybe weighs 42 pounds.
Yeah, I'm not interested in slugging that around, that's pretty big, the library's. Not really got that kind of storage at this point.
I think we just have to put a pin in this until we get a conversation going with the new guy, because the library really isn't in a position to. Be the person who's renting the stuff out, really, we could maybe store some stuff at certain times during the year, or. Be the place where the waivers signed, something like that, but.
Well, if I treated it like a state park pass or anything else, you know. They sign it out when the library is open, they bring it back in theory when the library is open, or put it in the Dropbox. But, you know, I don't have eyes on the beach, and that was another reason to involve the rec guy, and maybe he's got some experience with this, I don't know.
Okay.
Who's the new director?
Well, I'm not even sure.
Yeah. You have to like give 2 weeks notice and stuff.
They were trying to get it down low.
Okay, so let's just move on, because we're not gonna solve this problem today. The return box, I think Dennis is going to paint it, that's what you wanted?
Well, when Mark Burgess was doing the work out front.
Mhm.
He had been moving the box so that people get up, and Mark told me he was gonna get it all painted and make it look beautiful like the rest of the front. And it didn't happen.
Okay.
It didn't happen. I finally asked Dennis and he said, oh yeah, he had said he was going to paint it.
Okay, so I think that's on his to-do list for this summer. And then he also wanted to talk about the drive-through again, because it's not, the Thompson Hall or the library is not ADA compliant without a drive-through book return.
It does not have to be a drive-through book return to be ADA compliant. I am not willing to go out in the parking lot every day in all kinds of weather and collect books that then get wet again because we don't have any protection for them to get them through the drive-through into the library.
Well, the boxes, cause I was like, well, let's look into this, so I looked up and there's these boxes that have these huge bins, so I don't think it would be every day, I think it would be maybe once a week at the most.
I'm still not
And they-
interested in a drive-through. I've got other options we can explore.
I do see the point that's how it would really benefit older patrons who don't want to get out of their car to return a book. Like when their hips are hurting and like, that would be lovely for them to have that option.
Well, they have to get out of their car to come in and get books unless they let us know. I do deliver to people who are not able. But I think a drive-through is potentially problematic for parking and for plowing. And I just don't see the need of it. We've got a big overhang here at the back. But, you know, I know that he wants it, but it's not what the library staff want.
Well, I'm worried that it's not a want, it's a have to have.
It's not
Is it-
ADA compliant.
Yeah,
That does not mean that it has to be a drive-through.
okay, as long as someone who is handicapped can access it, which they can
Yes,
down there.
yes.
Okay.
I mean, they're coming in the library to get books, then they can park right in front of the door where the overhang is and walk. It could be something just like this. And then we don't have to go out into the weather. We can do it with shelter overhead. This is I had done a lot of research before, it didn't go anywhere, and I looked it all up again today for something like this, which is an indoor-outdoor on casters. If we needed to bring it inside because of a hurricane or nor'easter, we could.
What is
With,
the drop facility downstairs now,
no, there's a drop box out on the front porch.
right, which is not ADA accessible?
Right. That's the only drop box. Now, keep in mind,
Oh.
when this addition was added, it was to be ADA compliant. So that happened in 2000. Nobody seemed worried about that for the past 25 years.
Okay.
They didn't design one then, it's never been requested of us. People know that if they can't make it because they're sick or something, that I will deliver or pick up books from them. But if we want to spend with
Thousands of
taxes and delivery, this would be about $4,500.
Okay,
But
do you think
I,
I should just check with the town to be like, is it okay that we don't have one, or do we need something like this?
we should have an ADA accessible, we probably should have one. But I don't think it should be
A drive.
a drive-through.
Okay,
I don't
but
think that's
that
necessary.
if that would be ADA, if they can get to it from like their wheelchair, that covers their bases.
This is ADA compliant,
And-
we just need a certain amount of clearance in front of it to make sure someone
Okay,
using a wheelchair could access it.
and between you, Dennis, and the public works, I'm sure you guys could find a place that works for the people and you and everything.
Well, I'm just hoping to have it right out the back door, because we already have a van delivery box there, and I don't know why they couldn't just go side by side.
Alright, so should we plan on asking the friends next week to cover that? Or we could use the McCabe grant one, maybe?
We could,
I mean, we got money. We have money for one of the
I'm
things.
just sitting here.
Right, you're not being president anymore. Okay, well, let's see what the friends have to say about it. And I think I think it would be really nice to make it a little bit easier for people with mobility issues.
Including the library.
Yeah, I like that, yeah. I thought
Yeah,
there was
that-
one already down there, and this was in addition to it, for some reason, we had to have a drive-through, but like, okay, okay.
No, that parking lot is slippery and there's just no need to have a drive-through.
Okay, so, old business, is there anything to talk about as far as the McCabe grant?
Well, the sensory garden that you mentioned there is another thing that I was considering talking to the rec department about. Because, space here at Compton is laid out a certain way, it has a certain look. And, the garden does not have to be at Compton to be sponsored by the library, obviously, because we have story walks and things elsewhere. And I just thought maybe, maybe having a sensory garden at the beach would get more use. It's just something to throw out there.
That's okay. Okay. This guy's not gonna know what hit him. All the library trustees and dealers are gonna be like, hi.
Well, I've already talked to him about a couple ideas when he came here. That's what I was told, that's how he seemed, that he was eager to do so.
Well, after losing the waterfront program this summer, I feel like Monmouth needs a few wins. Okay, is there anything else? Then, is there a motion to adjourn?
So,
Is there a second? To adjourn? Seconded, all those in favor of adjourning? I'm saying, you guys, yes, you're good, okay. Meeting is done at 7:14. You guys, we're getting really good at this. Ready?
Oh,
Awesome.
it's just extra.
Okay, bye guys, thank you. I'm gonna hang up.
The handicap spot. Bye.